Then it was 3 o'clock on the 4th of July of 2025. Our lives changed in the blink of an eye. Got out of bed, water in the house, and that part of our life will never be the same again. But we're in a new part of life, and it's all good. When the flood came, we opened this door and our big doors in the front, and water took compressors, toolboxes. We barely got the cars out of here in time. So I went through a lot of years of just pain and not understanding why I was doing what I was doing, using substances to kill my pain. And I know what that did to me. I know what it did to my family, and I'm thankful that God put an end to that in my life in a very abrupt way. Car wreck, very bad, had a lot of those, but the last one was just time to heal and think about, I was 29 years old, think what I'm going to do the rest of my life. You can be in prison where there's no bars and no doors locked. Through the process of healing and recovering, just started studying the Bible, finding out what God's plan was for us. And I can't explain all of it, but it happened. I identify with people that especially are addicted. My life experience, education that God has given me has been a benefit to other people. Well, yeah, you can see the different color on the brick here. It was right at you can see the water stuff still at the bottom of that window. We called for help, and people came with pump trucks that early in the morning, but there was nothing they could do. We got into a motel, stayed 17 days in a motel, and then I called Aaron Hyatt and asked if had a place we could stay.
Tony called me after that flood and says, "Aaron, our house is flooded. I don't have a place to stay, and do you have anything?" And so we made that happen for him and others who were displaced by the flood. Still have a couple of folks that are still living on our campus that are displaced by the flood until they get their home built. But the Tharps moved in, and then they realized, wow, this is amazing, and decided to stay.
We decided, my wife and I, Pat, decided that this was a much better environment for us, less stress. We looked at what it was costing us to stay in a paid-for home with insurance, taxes, and those expenses, and it was actually a little cheaper to stay here. It's really a joy for me to see my wife happy here and have a lot less stress in her life, and we love it here.
The people are friendly, and if I don't want to cook, I go downstairs. I like everything about it. I do. I love living there. I want to live there the rest of my life. And it didn't take us too long to realize that. And so we went to our kids and we said, "Do you want to buy our house?" And they didn't hesitate. They said, "Yes."
Being here in this place, I'm hoping that God will use me to help other folks here that maybe have family members or themselves have been through addictions. One of the things I hope that can have groups here where people can talk about things maybe even in the old age that they want to talk about.
Purpose is, I believe, the lifeblood of any person. And our residents have shared, and I firmly believe this, that as long as you're on this earth, then God has a purpose for you being here. One of the bigger challenges oftentimes retirees face when they retire is purpose, is what purpose do they have? And moving to communities like Buckner, like Baptist Retirement Community, they can find that purpose again.
You know, my wife and I both have decided that we want to go to heaven from here, if that's God's will.